Hi, and welcome to the Primo Ceramic Grill's channel. I'm Daryl Schultz. In these next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to replace your gaskets. Now, depending on how much you cook, it may be a few years or it may even be several years before you have to replace your gaskets. But it's very important to do that because it creates a seal for your grill. It helps you with shutting down, and it also helps you with low temperature cooking. Now, we're going to look at the tools that you need. They're just some simple household tools that you need to replace the gaskets with. Then I'm going to go ahead and replace the gaskets, and then I'm going to show you how to cure the adhesive and get it to bond to the ceramics. So let's get started. Alright, now before I show you the tools that we're going to use to replace the gasket kit, I do want to show you how you can determine if you do need to replace your gaskets. Now obviously if you've got smoke coming out between your gaskets, that's a great indication. Now in the Primo University video maintenance and care, I showed you how to use the dollar bill test, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now in case you're not familiar with it. It's just a matter of going around your grill, putting a dollar bill in, putting it down. If you feel any resistance at all like I'm feeling now, you know that the gaskets are good right there. And as I work around the grill, I can still feel resistance. Now what you will find is that if you do have a problem with your gaskets where there is a leak, you'll be able to move that dollar bill side to side or pull it out very easily. Now the gaskets that I have here, they've got about 400 cooks on them. Actually my gaskets are still good. Even though that they're dark, they're a little bit flattened, I still have a great seal all the way around. They will be good for hundreds of more cooks, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and replace them. Okay, so let's start with just the basic tools that we're going to use to replace the gasket kit. We've got a paint scraper, box cutter, pair of scissors, a clean cloth, some acetone, a house towel, and of course we need our gasket kit. Now one thing that I want to mention about the gasket kits, we do have two different sizes of gasket kits, one for the junior and the Kamado, and another one for the large and the extra large ovals. And today we're going to be replacing one on my oval XL. Alright, so we're ready to begin replacing the gaskets. The first thing that I want to do is take the cooking grates out, get those out of the way, and we're going to insert this bath towel. Now you can use a shop vac after you're done, but I just find it's very easy to just take a towel and wrap it down inside the firebox, and that just gives me some extra room to work, and I don't have to worry about any residue coming down into the grill itself. So now that we're set with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the gasket first, and then we're going to go ahead and remove that old material. Now to get started with removing the material, you may need to use the box cutter just to create a lateral cut. You don't have to go real deep, you just want to create that start, and that will help you with the paint scraper. Alright, now we're going to use the paint scraper, and one important thing to remember is you don't really want to dig down deep into the ceramics. You just want to get just enough material to get started, and so that you're starting to work that material free. And you're just going to reach underneath there and just a little bit at a time and just scrape as you go, and that will allow that material to free itself. As you can see, I've already pulled off quite a bit of it. Alright, so now I've removed all that gasket material, and as you can see, there's still some discoloration on here. It's not going to look like a brand new grill. You never want to dig in far enough to really see that new material. I've really got all the material off, so the next step that we're going to do is I'm just going to clean that area on the dome and the base with some acetone and a clean rag. Now one thing I didn't mention when I was showing you the tools was gloves. I am going to go ahead and just use a glove to protect my skin from the chemicals, and so I'm just going to take a little bit of acetone on a clean rag, pour that on there, and then I'm just going to wipe the surface, and this is just going to get some of the debris off and just create a better surface for the new gasket material. And as you can see, I'm still getting some off, but that's just some of the debris that came from that old gasket material. I'm going to do a little bit more on the dome here, get that cleaned up, and we will be ready to start installing the new gasket material. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, now we're ready to install the new gasket material. The first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and get this towel out of the way. It's got all that residue on there. Now, for the gasket kit, as you can see, we've got our full gasket kit. It does have instructions on the inside. You can go ahead and take these out. We're going to be following the same instructions on the inside as well. And the first step is to take it out of the packaging. The one thing that you have to remember is not to cut the material. You're going to use the full length of that material. And so what we're going to do to start is we're just going to pull back about 6 to 8 inches of that material. And so we've got that pressure sensitive backing on there. And we're going to start at the 12 o'clock position, right at the very back of the base right here. And I'm going to apply just some light tension to it. You don't really want to tug on it. And you just want to start and line that up with the interior of your base right here. And then you just want to follow it around and just tack it down as you go, pulling some of that backing material off as you go. And we're just going to run all the way around the base here. And I'll be back in just a moment. I'm going to show you how to end it and to cut it so that it's flush. Alright, so I'm working around the base. I'm just about done. I'm still following that interior and just kind of lightly pressing on the material and pulling the backing off as I go. Once we get to the end, I do want to do a flush cut. Now you can use a scissors or you can use a box cutter. Now I've reached right at the end right here. I'm just going to press down a little bit. I kind of prefer a box cutter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for that edge that's right there. This is where I started. I want to be right at that. And I just want to make a good cut right straight across there. And that's going to allow me to pull on that material. Oh, I've got just a little bit more to cut there and there. And now I can pull back that material and I've got a nice flush cut, and we're just going to press that down. Now that the base gasket is completely installed, what you want to do is you want to make sure that that pressure sensitive material comes in contact with the ceramic. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work my hand around and just press down all the way around that gasket material just to make sure that it's nice and firm and it comes in contact with all that ceramic. And now that that's done, and you see we've got that nice flush cut, so we're not going to have a leak there, I'm going to go ahead and replace the gasket on the dome, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, now I've completed the gaskets for the base and the dome, and there's one little tip that I want to show you that's not in the instructions. As you see, I've got my cut mark here, but on the dome I've gone over about 2 inches and offset that. That's just to make sure that there's no minuscule leak that's right here. It's just one extra little thing that you can do. Now you're going to have some extra material left. You probably are going to have about 1.5 feet to 2 feet. So now we're going to look at whether or not you need to replace the gasket material under your top vent on the neck of the dome. Alright, so let's take a look at the top vent. Sometimes you need to replace the gasket material underneath there, sometimes you don't. It really doesn't experience so much heat, you know, that rush of heat that comes over the gaskets. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to remove my top vent. And as you can see, you know, I've got a pretty good seal on there right now, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and replace that. As you can see, I've got probably about 2 feet of material left. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and clean this, and then I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so I've gone ahead and taken off the old gasket material. I went ahead and wiped it down with acetone so it's ready for that new material. We've got just about 1.5 feet, 2 feet left. I'm going to do one revolution around there. And so you just start pretty much in the middle of the neck of the dome, and you just want to run that around and just let it come back and meet up with the other material. And this is the time that I actually like to use the scissors, because I don't want to take a chance of cutting into the actual ceramics. So I'm just going to use that material just to cut down, and it just takes a few little cuts, and then I'm going to make that meet flush. Go ahead and press that around there, and that's going to create that great seal for shutting down for low temperature cooking. And then just replace your dome, press it down, and you're ready to go. Now, if you have any questions about this video or any of our other videos, anything about Primo Ceramic Grills, just go to primogrill.com, look under the contact page. There's a general feedback form there. Fill it out, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thanks for watching.